I do not have the recognition because my assistant did not send it to me. So today was a pretty crazy, hectic day, but it will be posted in the FitTRIBE network page tomorrow. There's a lot of people that are on the board in our Chief Success Club, so that's great. I think March is off to a fabulous start, and I think there's a lot to look forward to this month. Tonight, we have Ashley sharing with us on our call about her topic NLC, and
you want change?
Okay, and actually it's pretty cool because Ashley is technically the first person that's from our team that's ever been to NLC. I was invited, but they told me I couldn't go last year because I went to leadership before. So, and then I'm sure, and I know Ashley's going to be going to leadership with me this year. So she gets the best of both worlds. She gets to go on both of them. And so I'm jealous of her for that. But what's cool is that she got to go, she represented, and she was also interviewed by Carl Deichler when she was there about her best practices and sharing those with the network. So that was also very cool. If you did not see that, be sure to check out the recording, which is posted. Well, it's on the link is on in our page as well. So I'm going to let her just take the floor, and then I'm sure at the end she will be open to taking any questions and that you guys may have. So, and just so you guys know, Ashley is a 2-star diamond. She's also a consistent team leader. We've had a couple other team leaders, but she is one of the consistent team leaders on our team. And also, just so you guys know, Ashley started with me when? January of 2013. She's like one of the January 2000. Was it June 15? So she's been with me a little over 2 years, but she's like one of the I'm just like want to put this in perspective for you though. Because when people have like coaches quit, they'll get very discouraged. And they're like, oh my gosh, my whole world's falling apart. And I'm like, right before this call, when I put Daniela down and I was standing outside because I'm like, all right, is she going to come out and have to go potty or something? And I was sitting there and I'm like, so who's still on the team from like 2 years ago when Ashley started? And I'm like, Tiffany Joyce is, and she's probably teaching a live class right now. And Robin is, and she's on the call. And I honestly don't think there's anybody else that's still like an original person that's actively coaching as a business builder that started on the team. So I just want to put that in perspective for you. And that's not, it's just how things change. And I say that I learned something from Chelsea Pearson off one of the surge calls, and it was the people that get you where you're going to go aren't necessarily going to get you where you, or got you where you aren't going to get you where you want to go. And I find that that's a very true statement in this business. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So she's like a pioneer of our team. And I'll let you take over.
All right, yes. Actually, Micah Folsom, one of the speakers, talked about that whole thing about how the people who join you at the beginning are probably not your lifers. So don't get so attached to them. The people who got you here are not going to get you to the next level. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But I just want to share one quick story. So when they asked me to talk to Carl, it was so funny. It was 5 o'clock in the evening, and I usually am sitting in this chair. I have my nursing pillow. My daughter sleeps on it because I just don't have time to sleep train her. So it's just like, whatever, wherever you go to sleep and I can get my work done, we'll do it. So she's sleeping and my phone rings and it says Santa Monica. And I'm like, oh man, is it one of those stupid recordings? It's like, Ashley, are you leading your team cup? I mean, how many of you have ever gotten those from Beachbody? So I expect it to be that. I answer it, and this lady was like, Ashley, it's Sandy from Beachbody. And I'm like, Sandy, like the Sandy? And is this recording? And then she starts talking and I'm like, oh my God, this is like legit Sandy. She's actually calling me. And I was so flabbergasted, and I was eating almonds and I started to choke on the almond skins and I didn't have any water. And I'm like, I have to, and I'm just like mentally telling myself, swallow as much spit as you can. You can't be coughing and interrupting this call with Sandy and waking up the baby and having her scream. But anyway, so that was really cool. I think that was my proudest coaching moment, is that Sandy from the National Wake Up Call called me. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I have slides for you. They're not pretty. They're actually quite awful, but I did them last night at 2 a.m. because I find that now, it's hard to juggle when you get to a certain point in your business, and you also want to be with your baby. So I find that, okay, I'll do a lot of my work at nighttime while she's sleeping. So my slides are basic, but I hope that they're going to give you some good information and some inspiration. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started here. Okay, everyone, can you see that? Thumbs up? Thank you. Okay. All right. So it was hard to just come up with the top 10, but I wanted to pick the things that were going to resonate with the majority of you, because a lot of this was really focused on what happens when you get to 2-star and above. So if you don't know what the New Leader Conference is, it is for coaches who advanced to 2-star or above the year before in 2016, and also had 30 elite points. So if you don't know what an elite point is, that's fine. You'll find out when you become a diamond coach, but you want to be a diamond coach as soon as possible so that you can start accruing those elite points. And if you had, I think it was maybe 60 elite points, then you got your hotel room covered for the conference. And it was in downtown LA. The hotel room was like $500 some a night. So that was really amazing that Beachbody picked that up if you qualified. So right now, I want everybody to write that goal down, that next year you will qualify for the New Leader Conference and you will be invited. So you have to be a 2-star in 2016 and you have to have 30 elite points to get there. And you definitely want to go, and I'm going to explain why. So one, it was for networking. So I got to hang out with all of these other people who are at my level and who understand what I'm going through. So really, the presenters were fabulous, but I learned the most from all of the like team building and just dinner times that they had built in, where I got to talk to all of the other coaches from all across the country in Canada who were at the same level. We all have the same business struggles and questions, and we were all sharing ideas. And we are so blessed to be a part of the Bombshell Dynasty and have the resources that we have, because I talk to a lot of coaches who don't have any upline support. Like their uplines aren't active and those uplines aren't active and they're just not on great teams. So it's taken them longer to get to that point and to actually qualify, but they did it and they actually have built themselves with nothing. So that goes to show you don't have to wait for your upline to teach you and to give you all of the information. You know, these people were go-getters. They don't have anybody helping them yet. They made it there. But it was really incredible to network with people from Christine Dwyer's team and Janelle Summers' team and Ali Upham's team, and to meet and to just share what their different teams do and how they train new coaches and all that good stuff. We got to a live workout with Joel and Jericho had her son there who's adorable, and he was on stage and walking around, and then they had breakfast with us. And then you can see it's like, how many selfies can you take in one location? I posted that photo and all the comments were like, oh my gosh, every single person's taking a selfie. So yeah, it was like 250 people taking selfies the entire time, and they had professional photographers walking around as well. But they really do it up. So Beachbody, they provided the meals. There was an open bar, and at all the dinner events, there was a sushi bar and chocolate fountains and all kind of really fancy, amazing food. So it was like the best conference. I've been to a lot of conferences and presented at conferences when I was a teacher, and they were all absolutely awful in comparison to this. So that is why you need to go there. And I want to briefly talk about the power of live events. And I know Megan's always harping on this. So if you have not gone to a Super Saturday, one's coming up in April, you need to find one and get your butt there. You need to register for Summit if you haven't registered for Summit, because the power of live events is incredible, because it shows people, one, you get to, yes, network and meet people and feel connected and learn new things. But the marketing aspect pays for itself alone. So while I was at this conference and posting about how I was at this conference, I had an amazing business surge. I had all these coaches who wanted to sign up and all these people who wanted to join my challenge group because I was there posting about it. And so that's what happens when you go to live events and you post on your social media and show that it's not just you working out in your basement or your living room, that you're a part of this whole large community. They then want to be a part of it. So that's why you need to get to live events. And then there were swag bags in the middle. That's the hotel. I brought my husband and my daughter, and they stayed, they just did their own thing. But the hotel gave us that cute little onesie and little horse and hat. But then Beachbody did it up. Every day that you went to a conference, there was a different swag bag with all of these different things from Beachbody. So I thought that was cool. And they shuttled us to Beachbody headquarters and took us on a tour. And it's everything that you would expect. Like everywhere you look is healthy snacks and Shakeology bars. They have their own barista that makes Shakeology for you all day for free, and the gym. And then the employees there's like this body machine that they step on, and they put their like ID in it, and it tracks their progress during their entire tenure at Beachbody, like their body fat and composition and all that cool stuff. And they're encouraged to go work out and use Beachbody on demand at any time. So it's definitely somewhere cool to work. And my tour guide is from where I live right now in State College. So how cool is that? So we connected in California. Okay, now on to the good stuff. So I want everybody to do this activity that they made us do. So our overarching kind of theme was, in one word, what does Beachbody mean to you? And every person that got up to speak, including the corporate people who kind of introduced the next speaker, they had to share what their one word was. And really, I think the most popular word is freedom. That's what Beachbody means to people. It's what Beachbody gives to people, is freedom. But I want you to be a little bit more creative. And what does it mean to you? And I want you in the chat pod to type your one word. What does it mean to you? So for me, I wrote purpose, because I have found my purpose here. I'm going to talk more about that as I go. But maybe it's joy, shine, passion, love, freedom. What does Beachbody mean to you in one word? So share that in the chat pod. And if you don't have a word, think of it as we go. So I'm going to give my top 10 takeaways, kind of like David Letterman style. I'm going to start at 10. I'm going to go to 1. So the number 10 is the word coach. So we just talked about that one word that Beachbody means. I want to shift it a little bit to the word coach. That's what you are. You're a coach. And this is what Carl spoke about. So Carl said, you have to understand that title carries a lot of weight and a lot of meaning. Unlike other MLMs, we are not ambassadors and we are not distributors. And what's really funny is the hotel that we were at in downtown LA, when I looked out my window, directly across from me was the Herbalife headquarters. And Herbalife was plastered everywhere. And it was kind of this running joke that they talked about a lot, because if you don't know, Herbalife, they just got fined $2 million for being a pyramid scheme, because they make people sign up as distributors, buy thousands of dollars in inventory, and they don't give them any training. And so these people have these garages filled with inventory that they have to sell, and the inventory has expiration dates, and they have no training on how to sell it, and they're just encouraged to sign more people up as distributors, and they're not even encouraged to sell their products. It's just sign up more distributors, sign up more distributors. So they were recently fined. And think about all of these other MLMs, right? People just make quick transactions. Do you want to buy these leggings off me? Join my group and buy these leggings. Do you want to buy this mascara off me? Beachbody coaching is probably the most difficult MLM out there. because you're not just making those quick transactions. You're not just trying to get bodies into a group to buy something off of you. You have to give them consistent and ongoing support. So right now, there's a lot of people who left, and all of the corporate people kept mentioning this wine MLM. I don't even know what this wine MLM is called. But anyway, people are leaving to go sell wine, right? Does that really contribute to your life in a meaningful way? Like at the end of the day, are you going to feel like proud that you sold wine to all of these people? So you have to keep in mind that your title coach is so much more important than being a distributor or being an ambassador for some business that just sells things to people. And we have to remember that it's just as easy for our challengers to start as it is for them to quit. So our challenge is to really keep them in the game and to help them and keep them feeling supported. So next, I'm gonna give you a little business tip. So they talked a lot about the leadership ladder. And I think this is something like as a whole, I really dropped the ball on helping my coaches understand the value of using the leadership ladder to set goals and to really measure your success and where you are. But I thought this was a really interesting statistic that they shared. So they looked at the diamonds in last year and the diamonds who dropped rank. And they said, okay, these diamonds, how many of them were team leaders on the leadership ladder? Like how does rank match up with leadership ladder in maintaining and keeping your rank? And they found that only 5% of team leader diamonds dropped rank within 1 year, whereas 59% of non-team leader diamonds dropped rank. So say you're a team builder, you got to diamond, but you didn't make it to team leader, you're far more likely to lose your rank. And then advancing rank, 34% of diamonds who were team leaders advanced rank to 1-star, 2-star, but only 6% of non-team leader diamonds advanced to 1-star or above. So I wanted to share this, and I think it's really important if you're a brand new coach or a veteran coach to really take the leadership ladder, save it to your computer, put it into your monthly and quarterly goals, and try to figure out what you need to do to advance. And it's right there, but you can go in and you can look. And I think rank is important, but the leadership ladder is really going to help you find stability and get to the income that you want to get to. And I think that's really what everyone's goal is, right? Megan always says rank is sexy, but income's where it's at. So use the leadership ladder to try to figure out where you need to be to find some stability. And then I wanted to just throw this in there. This is a freebie. They're going to be putting this in the online office soon. So this is all about residual income. There are 2 ways to build residual income. One is through team bonus cycles. The other one is through Shakeology retention. They're going to put this calculator in the online office for you. So you can calculate what you need to be doing in order to earn your income goal. So say your income goal is $75,000. You're going to be able to plug that in, and it's going to tell you what you need to be doing, how many team cycle bonuses you need to get, what volume you need on each leg, how many Shakeology HDs you need to be retaining so that you can make sure, okay, if my income goal is $75,000 this year, this is what I need to be doing. I need to be aiming for $1,400 a month. I need to be getting the diamond team cycle bonus, and I need to be looking at this volume. And so here's the Shakeology retention income growth. So again, that's going to be in the online office. I don't remember when they said it was coming, but that's going to be a tool for you. Okay, next. Goal setting. I think this is something we just naturally do, but I wanted to share it. So Ashley Smith, really amazing. Ashley Smith is a top 10 coach. She was at the New Leader Conference last year as a participant. So she was just there as one of the qualifying coaches, sat in the audience. And from that moment, she said she left the New Leader Conference with this fire and was like, I'm going to go to the top. And she started to really focus on goal setting. And she ended up in the top 10 in 1 year. So she was there as just a New Leader Conference attendee. And now she was invited back 1 year later to speak as a top 10 coach. So I think that's pretty incredible. And here's what she said. She said she left there and she wrote down her 5-year vision. So I want you right now to think, like, do you have a 5-year vision? Or are you just like, oh, I just want to make some money off this? Or, oh, it'd be great if I could do this. No, you have to have a crystal clear vision of what you want your future to be like. And then you have to have a mission. Your mission is going to be what gets you to that vision. And every day you need to wake up and remember what your mission is. So maybe your mission is something like to inspire and empower women to live healthy and happy lives and realize their true potential, right? So every day I wake up and I think, okay, what is my mission? In a lot of my social media posts, I'll say my mission is to, and I'll state like to help moms, blah, 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 blah. So I'm being very crystal clear every day on what my mission is and why I'm doing this. Yes, I'm doing it for the income as well, but you have to have a larger purpose. So why are you getting up every day and doing this? And then lastly, you have to set those goals. So what are your short-term goals and your long-term goals? Like how many Success Club points do you want to get this month? How many Success Club points do you want to get next month? What kind of income do you want to be bringing in? What do you want to be, what rank do you want to be at, right? Because your goals are going to be tied to all of those things. So you have to have a vision, like where are you going? You have to have a mission because that's going to give you the motivation to keep going and headed into that direction of your vision. And your goals are going to drive that mission into that vision. So if you don't have goals, you're just shooting an arrow in the dark. So if I talked to a coach recently and she's like, oh, I don't want to set goals because if I don't get them, I'll feel really bad about myself. That is the most ridiculous bullshit thing I've ever heard. Like you have to get over your own ego of I'm going to disappoint myself if I don't hit my goals. You have to aim high, right? You have to set the bar high. Always be raising the bar for yourself. I would much rather set a high goal and not reach it than set a low goal and just always be stagnant and just feeling good about myself. So set very specific goals. I'm going to share these slides with you because there's a link here, the Coach Empower Hour, and this is golden. Ashley shared with us. She created this kind of packet. It's a goal planning sheet for the week, for the day, her Instagram followers, because she is killing it on Instagram. I think that's how she got to the top 10. And so her tracker she shared with us is a PDF. So you can access it, download it, print it, do whatever you want, and you can start using that. She made that for her team, and that's how she got to the top 10. Well, one of the reasons. So definitely golden material there. Okay, number 7. This is for those of you who are kind of feeling growing pains because you're signing on coaches and you're growing your team, but you're like, how do I balance my team with my own business? Because you never ever want to get in management mode because your team is going to do what you do, not what you say. You set the pace and they follow you. And a lot of coaches fall into this trap where now I have to manage my team. I have to support my team, and they slack off and they fall out of phase 1. So you always want to be in phase 1. Look at Melanie Mitro. She is the top coach 3 years in a row, yet every morning at 5 a.m. she's posting her sweaty selfie. She's still in phase 1. She's still posting and recruiting to multiple challenge groups a month. Does she have to do that? Probably not, but she's still in phase 1. She's setting the bar. She's leading her team. And so it's really important that you find that balance and you don't find like your team is sucking you dry, because that can really happen once you start getting a sizable team. So you always want to work your business first. Do not go into any team pages and check on your coaches or check your messages from coaches until you have done your vital behaviors, until you have invited, until you have reached out, connected, posted, and done what you needed to do. And then you devote your time to your team. I think Megan does a really great job of talking about this as well. And then with your team, are you spending it with the people who've earned it, right? I think the squeaky wheels, are often the loudest, and they make all this noise and they complain and then they don't do anything, right? You're going to sign up people and you're going to pour your heart and soul into them, and you're going to give them so much of your time, and then they're going to quit, right? Because they don't have the grit, they don't have the determination, they don't have the goals, and you're going to be like, WTF, you're going to be so mad, right? So you have to make people earn your time, right? Because again, the people who got you here are probably not going to be the ones to get you to the next level, right? It's not that you forget them and you leave them, because you want to keep supporting them for sure. But you have to make sure that people are earning your time, because your time is your most valuable asset. And are you dragging people, right? Josie, I don't know how to say her last name, but I always think about this. Stop reviving the dead, right? Stop reviving the dead. All you have to do as a leader is to lead from the front and to give your team what you have, what resources you have, what you have been given, is to pay it forward. That's the only two things you need to do. And if you've done that, then that's all you need to do, right? So you don't need to drag them along. You don't need to hold their hand. You just need to lead by example and to be there for when they need you and to give them the resources that you had or that you have created. And if you are finding that the people you're attracting don't match your goals, like their goals don't match yours, you need to find more people. You need to keep finding more people consistently, because you need to find your lifers, you need to find your tribe, and you need to run with them. But a lot of times you're going to attract people who see what you have, see the potential, and they're not quite there. And they want to be there, and that's why they're attracted to you. So you have to treat them as what you think they will become. You have to believe in them before they believe in themselves. You have to breathe that life into them and give them that belief. So it's really important. Like, this is I think this is the hardest part of coaching. At the beginning of coaching, it's right? It's easy. I want to tell you that right now. You may think as a brand new coach, like, this is hard, talking to people, inviting people, like getting them into challenge groups. That's the easy part. The hard part is once you have a team and you see people with such potential and you're trying to motivate them and believe in them, and they just don't believe in themselves, and you're trying to just get them to put themselves out there, to do personal development, and to just make another post or just invite more people, and you see this potential, and it's so hard to get people to believe in themselves. And then if they don't, they quit, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's earth-shattering when a coach quits, right? It's so tough, but bless and release, right? And I'm going to talk about quitting in just a moment. But anyway, so that's the hardest part of coaching when you advance, is really finding the balance between your own business and your team, and how to really support your team and how to really motivate them without allowing them to just over consume your day and your life and your time. Okay, so here's a social media little tip. And I think, we know these things. Again, it's so funny. When you get invited to this conference, they put you in a Facebook group with everyone else who was invited, and people who are in there asking questions, some of them, as I said, don't have the upline support and the trainings and the resources that we get from the Bombshell Dynasty. So they're just like, oh my gosh, this is golden information. And to us, it's like, we've heard this a lot. But anyway, your social media should be your journal. And this is what Ashley Smith talked about, and what really, she said, did it for her. Think of your social media as your journal. So in a few years, you want to look back at your social media and you want to see what you did that day, what happened that day. So that's how you should think of it. So a lot of times coaches will be like, I don't know what to post. Well, what are you doing? What are you eating? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Where are you going? Journal it. Put it on social media. So you want to sell your lifestyle as a coach. Being on a team, like a call like this, like how many of you posted that you were getting on a team call, that you were going to get free training, that you were going to get all of this information, right? That's something you should post, because a lot of people want to do this, but they're afraid. They don't know that, hey, we offer this free training and free support, that there's this community. What has coaching given you? The ability, like one of my coaches went and she said, today's payday, and I went and I paid for myself to get a pedicure, right? Sell your lifestyle. What is coaching doing for you? But be real. And I see a lot of my new coaches really struggling with this because they just want to copy what other coaches are doing or what I'm doing. And so you don't want to do that. You just want to be you, and you transparent. You need to find your voice. You need to find who you are, and you need to just be completely open and vulnerable. Just be you. Don't always show the highlight reel. And you want to make your social media a sneak peek. So whenever you get objections about coaching, post them publicly, right? Talk about them publicly, and constantly be talking about all those little things that coaching is doing for you. And this kind of, the last one ties into being transparent. Are you just at surface level? Are you just posting sweaty selfies? Are you just posting your shake? Are you just posting like, how much water should you be drinking each day, right? That's surface level. And that's okay. Like if you've been a coach for a week, but after that, you need to dig deep, and you need to be vulnerable, and you need to really unfold your story. And so the moment that I started talking about Who I really was and what I really struggled with is when my business took off. So here are a few examples. Like, I didn't want to talk. I never mentioned that I had like all these degrees and that I was getting a doctorate for like the first year, because I didn't want other people to think they had to have all these degrees to be a coach. But then as soon as I started talking about that, I got all of these people who were like in the same boat. And then I didn't want to talk about how I have all this student loan debt because I was embarrassed by it. And as soon as I started talking about it, I started to get all these other people who have all the student loan debt. As soon as I started talking about how my parents suffer from addiction issues, I started to get people who really related to that. And that is what really flip the switch on my business. So you can't just go with your surface level sweaty selfies. What were you struggling with? What do you really struggle with? What was going through your mind? Who are you really? What is your story? Don't quit. Here's what I said I was going to talk about. Okay, so if you're on this call, that's a good sign. Like, I probably don't think you're going to quit, but you never know, right? There have been people on this call that have quit, and that's sad. And I personally, I just like have no tolerance for quitters. I hate quitters, but bless and release. I understand it's not for you, but when you quit something, it's like you lose a little bit of my respect. So imagine you are going on a trip. You have this road trip planned, and you're going with your spouse or your best friend or your family, and you're just so pumped about this road trip, and you take all this time planning and packing and getting the car ready, and you get in the car and you're all excited and you're going, and 100 miles into your journey, you get a flat tire. So you pull over to the side of the road and you're like, well, what are we going to do? So what do? Do you get out and do you call AAA or call someone to come fix your tire? Or do you slash the remaining 3 tires and say, screw it, this isn't for me, I shouldn't do this, I give up, I'm just gonna go home? Or do you get it fixed and you go on your trip and you enjoy it? That is the example here. So you are going to hit roadblocks. This is a roller coaster. You're gonna have days where you're like, this is the best thing ever. And then the next day you're gonna be like, I can't do this anymore. But you have to be here, and you have to be here in a year. It baffles me when people are like, I tried this and it's just not for me. If you haven't been in this business for at least a year, then how do you even know if it's for you? Bob Heilig, he does the podcast, Your Virtual Upline, which I highly recommend. I watched a recording today with him. He did it for Chelsea Pearson's team because I stalk her YouTube channel, and there was like new, and I was like, well, I gotta watch this. So it was like my 2 favorite, people. So Bob Heilig, listened to his podcast, but he said when he started in network marketing, he didn't make a sale for his first year, not one sale in his entire first year, but he stuck with it, and now he's super, super successful. Obviously, he runs a podcast and has a training all on network marketing. You go to school, you go to college for 4 years to get a degree, and then you maybe go to school for a little bit longer, and then you get an entry-level job, and you have to do a whole lot of training, and then it takes a long time to make a whole lot of money after you spend all that time and all that money in school. Right? If you were to open a brick and mortar business, you would invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to open that business, and you would not see a return on investment. You would not make a profit for years. But with this business, you don't invest anything to start. You buy your challenge pack and you get to open a business, yet people want immediate success. They're like, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't made $1 million. And they're like, this isn't for me. And that is just freaking ridiculous, right? You have to put in the time. You have to be here for a year. If you haven't been here for a year and you don't commit to being here for 1 year from now, you're never going to know if you were meant for this, if this is for you, if you were successful or not. So as a brand new coach, it takes time. It takes consistency. People are not going to see your social media posts and that day be like, I need to give you all my money and give you my life. No, you need to earn their trust. So that is the biggest thing that I have seen with coaches is that they're impatient and they don't trust the process. So I want to tell you right now that if you're here, you cannot quit. You have to show up every day. You have to have that 5-year vision. You have to have your mission and you have to have your goals, right? It's so, so important. And the other thing is, are you working, I have it written down, are you working a part-time business or a sometime business? right? So I understand a lot of you have other jobs. You have kids, you have a million responsibilities. I get it. I did that too. When I started working, doing this Beachbody gig, I worked a full-time job. I was going to school full-time, and then I got pregnant, and then we moved, and I did all of that while building this business. And I never took a day off because I was like, yes, I'm working this part-time, but I see the vision. I had such immense trust in the process. I looked at those who went before me. I looked at Megan. I looked at Lindsay. I looked at Melanie. And I said, if these people can do it, I can do it too. So I showed up every day. So you can't just work this business whenever you feel like it. It can't be a sometime business. It's okay to work this business as a part-time business, but it has to be a part-time, everyday, consistent business for a while, okay? It's not going to happen overnight. Champion yourself. I'm sure you maybe have heard this. And I just love this. And I was going to play the sound clip, but then I found the whole quote by Will Smith, and I'll just put the whole quote and I'll read it to you. So Will Smith said this: "The only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on the treadmill. I will not be outworked, period. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all those things. You got it on me in 9 categories. But if we get on a treadmill together, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple. You're not going to outwork me." It's such a simple, basic concept. The guy who is willing to hustle the most is going to be the guy that just gets the loose ball. The majority of people who aren't getting the places they want or aren't achieving the things they want in this business is strictly based on hustle. It's strictly based on being outworked. It's strictly based on missing crucial opportunities. I say all the time, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. And I just love that. So Micah Folsom, super successful coach, she talked about championing yourself. So every day you have to show up. Every day you have to be ready. You always have to be thinking and preparing of what can you do next? What group can you run next? What time of the year is it? What do people need? You can't be reactive in this business. You have to be proactive. You have to have a plan. So there are a lot of coaches who just, fly by the seat of their pants, and that's great, but that's not going to get you long-term growth. If you look at the top coaches, they all work from a list. They're all very organized. They just follow a process. So you have to champion yourself, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this with number 1. And hustle. I think I missed the ball, and that's what I really wanted to talk about, was that you have to freaking hustle, right? This job, this coaching business is not easy, but it's simple, right? It's simple tasks just done consistently over time, but you have to do them. So you have to do the hard work. Okay, moving on. What time is it? Oh my gosh, I'm just rambling on. Okay, this is great. So I want you to just take a step back and look at where you are right now and where your business is, and are you happy with it? Because every system is perfectly designed to deliver the results it produces. So look at your results. Are you happy with what you are getting? Are you happy with the income you are producing, with the Success Club points you are earning, with the coaches that you are attracting? And if not, then your system is broken. There's something wrong with your system and you need to work on it. So the best way to do this is, be honest with your situation. Because when you're honest with the situation, the solution becomes more evident. And I think a lot of people are too afraid to do this, to actually look at their social media and to do an audit, or to ask somebody to do an audit. And it's kind of like transformation photos, right? You can walk by the mirror every day and be like, oh yeah, I'm not looking too bad. I'm looking good. But then when you take those before photos, you're like, holy shit, I need to do this. I need the 3-day refresh. So that's what you need to do with your business. You need to take a before and after photo. What is your business? What state is it at right now? And where do you want to get it? What are you doing now that's not working, right? We all know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So if you're doing the same thing and you're not getting the favorable results, it's time to switch something up. So maybe you need to ask somebody to look at your social media. Are you sharing or are you selling? Are you posting enough of yourself? If people go to your page, will they know that you're a coach, that there's something to join? Are you sending out enough invites and connecting with people? What do those messages look like? Send them to your upline and ask for feedback, because maybe you're just coming out of the gate and you're turning people off because you're too salesy or you're not connecting with them and they just know that you're trying to sell them something. Send those messages to someone. Look at what you're doing and accept the reality of where you are and just have faith that it will get better. You just have to begin tweaking it. The culture of discipline. So what is that one thing that you can do to give you an extra edge? So there's this story about an athlete, and his name is Dave Scott, and he won the Hawaiian Ironman triathlon 6 times. And every day his training regimen was crazy. He would bike 75 miles and swim 20,000 meters and then run 17 miles every single day. So he was burning an insane amount of calories, but he would rinse his cottage cheese because he believed in a high carb, low fat diet. Kind of like I believe in a high fat, high carb diet. So anyway, he loved cottage cheese. He ate cottage cheese every day. He was burning 5,000 calories a day, but he would rinse his cottage cheese underwater to remove any excess fat because he believed that gave him an extra edge. That's why he was so successful. And there was never any proof that that's what did it, that it was worth doing that. But he believed that was his extra edge. They give another example that Melanie Mitro, they called her and they were like, oh, do you have a $1 million health bet group starting? And she's like, oh, you bet I do. But I also have 3 other groups starting. That was her extra edge, right? Whereas most coaches were planning 1 group, she was planning 3 groups because she was looking at when her audience and what they would need at different weeks throughout that time period. That's her extra edge. So you need to think, what is your cottage cheese? What can you rinse? What can give you that extra edge over someone else? And what it is for you may be different than it is for me. So don't look around at what other coaches are doing. You need to find your passion, what you are good at, what you excel at, and what sets you apart from the next coach. And you also need to focus on stop doing lists, because those are more important than start doing lists. So think about all of the time you are wasting by comparing yourself to other people. You can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 11. You cannot be scrolling the news feed looking at other coaches and what they're doing. It's okay to do that once in a while to get some inspiration, but you can't spend the majority of your time looking at what other coaches are doing. Are you procrastinating? Are you worrying about what other people are thinking of you? Because that is so old. You got to get over that. That's your ego. Nobody cares about you that much, so get over it. So make a stop doing list of things that you're doing that are not driving your business forward. And last but not least, you are the sum of all your training. So you need to make sure that you are out there, that you are doing everything that you need to do. You are championing yourself. You have discipline, you have that extra edge, and you are in the zone. And they play this video and I'm going to play it for you. I think you'll be able to hear it. Hold on, let me get to it. Okay, it's short. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I can't figure out how to stop sharing now. There we go. Okay, so that was rule yourself. So remember that everything you do in this business, you are constantly growing. What's the saying? When you're green, you're growing. When you're red, you're rotten. So you always need to be looking for growth. You always need to be doing your personal development, and you always need to remember that this is about just continual growth and perfecting as you go. So I hope that helped. What questions do you guys have?
Questions? Anybody have questions? I think there was a lot of great takeaways from that, and that was probably a super fabulous synopsis, because I know Ashley's so very organized and stuff. Ashley asks, what was your first 5-year goal?
Me?
Yep.
My 5-year goal, my first 5-year goal was to quit my job, and that has happened. And now my goal is to retire my husband and to pay off all my debt. So that's like a 3-year goal, is to be debt free. I have a lot of student loan debt.
And just so you guys know, for the elite points, we have the resources posted, so you guys should be able to, if you want to research that or know about it, they're there in our groups if you need to find them. But you do start accruing them no matter where you are as a coach. So like brand new coach, Emerald, wherever, you start accruing them right away at the beginning of the new year. We all start accruing them day one. You aren't able to track those until you become a diamond coach. And really, it doesn't matter unless you're a diamond coach, or actually until like you really start building. And when you start building more of a team, then that stuff starts to matter a little bit more. Or you have goals where you're setting, you're all in, then it matters. If that's on your radar for what you're doing.
And I know Megan and I talked about this, but like diamond is definitely a stepping stone. Like you want to get to diamond, definitely, but the magic doesn't happen until you're a 2-star. So when I became a 2-star, my income basically doubled at that point, because you get to open another business center, and then there's just so many different opportunities for you to really maximize the income potential and the compensation plan. So your goal should be 2-star. Don't be like, oh, I'm just going to get to diamond. That's just a stepping stone.
The coaches there and the diamond dash right now, like we just were talking, because that's why I was talking with Ashley the other day, and we were saying we're like, way too many people are associating diamond with income, and it's not. Like Ashley was saying, it's a stepping stone. So that's what you have to remember and really focus. It's just like people are like, oh, and then I'll have like this great income. No, it's not that. It is a great momentum. It's like this, I always compare it to starting a car, or like, it's like a plane taking off. It's like your takeoff to go into the sky and get that elevation. That's what diamond is. And it's a great momentum builder for your business. Mm-hmm. Like you can't stop there. You have to take it and run with it. Mm-hmm. So we'll be addressing that in that group anyway. And for anybody who is in the income surge, tomorrow we're going to be going live at 12:30 on a Zoom call, doing an open Q&A just to wrap things up for that. Every single call we did, and all the success stories, including my story, and everybody in there, and the preachers, the teachers, everything in there is all on YouTube. So I will also be creating documents like of those. So, and last but not least, I wanted to reiterate, Ashley and I are building a book of business for our tribe network overall for everybody. We want to do customers and coaches, and we want to do it by program. So for transformation photos, for people, you get permission for us to use it, whether they want to cut their head off, blur, whatever, or if you as a coach are willing to share your transformation photos, we want to build a book of business for us as a full network, so that if Carl would come up to us and say, he walks around with this. Did he have the binder at NLC?
No.
He walked around leadership with this binder of the transformation photos he has. And like you didn't see him anywhere. Like we were at like we're like at the like reception with like, you know, all these bars and these like dancers and all this stuff. And there's like Carl with a big ass binder. But we want to have like, if Carl was to come up to you next year at NLC, you'd be able to like open up your drive on your phone and be like, these are all the transformations from our team, like our tribe. This is what we've done. You know what I'm saying? So we have, we want to get that rolling. So as you guys start to get those coming in, like we want to start building that together. Okay, Ash, can you post those PDF books under the link for this call?
Yeah.
Okay, and I will share the recording and you guys can share it appropriately. And otherwise, have a great night, guys. It was great to see you all. Thank you, Ashley.